Hello and welcome to Racers Now, sponsored by Welcome Estates. And we've got a Sunday night special with SD, fresh from a trip to Huntingdon today and Kelso yesterday and Wolverhampton tomorrow. But just 9 days away now is the Cheltenham Festival itself. We know that SD isn't the biggest fan of the festival from an anti-post perspective, but there's plenty going on. And this is the first chance we've really had to speak to the main man about the biggest festival in jumps racing. SD, how are you?
I'm good. Everyone's so excited. It's 9 days. It's like Christmas. Good heavens.
I'm surprised you, in your first bit of talking there, you didn't mention Hexham or Sedgefield. So I have already lost a bet on this video. Right, going on weather. We'll start with that. You know the score there. Is there much rain around? What are they going to call the going? Will they be lying when they give the first day's going?
But look, I don't think any of us can say they'll be lying or anything like that. I think that's a little bit harsh. Look, it's currently soft, heavy in places, and it's basically forecast certainly until Thursday night dry. We've got high pressure now. Now after that, things do get a bit more fruity. But if you were to take the median of the forecast, I certainly don't think we're gonna get that much rain. It wouldn't completely surprise me if they were irrigating next weekend. Now, we can have the conversation should you water to achieve good to soft ground. I cannot see a festival opening day or any day of the festival these days being run on good ground officially.
Yep, you're correct.
So I would at this stage I'm working on the proviso of decent ground, and it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they irrigated.
Yep, just stepping backwards a tad. SD has got off to a flying start to March daily tips. Winner on Saturday, winner on Sunday. So that is since October the 31st. Keeps putting the winners in. Right, we have had a couple of questions, SD. Dale Nichols, usual contributor to the podcast. He said, we all know 28 races is still too many, but it won't get reduced. But if you were to, what are the 3 handicap races that must be protected at all costs? There's lots of handicaps there. Which 3 would you definitely keep if there was having a metaphorical cull?
I would keep the Grand Annual. I think that's a great spectacle. 2 miles. There is something nice about 2 mile chasers rattling round.
That used to be the last race of the festival, didn't it? And they've changed
Yeah, I mean,
another
look,
day.
they move it, don't they? I would keep the county hurdle.
Yep.
Um,
For
and I would probably keep the ultimate because I think they are 3 perfectly good races.
And the ultimate is still a Grand National pointer, is it not?
It can be. It can be. I mean, look, the Grand National has changed, and obviously better horses win it these days. So, remember Flyers Nap winning it. I backed that when I was 10 years old, and I backed it. There you are, Flyers Nap for Robert Older. But in all seriousness, what would I do with the festival? I'm guessing is the subsequent question. I think it's better at 3 days. Certainly, I think there are certain races in there that shouldn't exist. If I don't think it is an extreme view to say that you want championship horses running in the championship races and not finding a gimme somewhere else. There are races at Aintree for them. So I would probably, and this will upset people, I would certainly get rid of the Mares Hurdle. I would get rid of the Mares Chase. I'd get rid of the Ryanair, to be quite honest. And then people will pow tow, start getting on about you can't get rid of the Ryanair. Well, look, just remember, you go back. There's some lovely footage on Twitter about one man and what one man did, and this is a great example. He ran twice in the Gold Cup. Ran out of petrol abruptly at virtually the same point both times. They ran him in the Queen Mother and won. And you can't help but think, and there's a case in point this year with Ile Francais, that I think he should be going for the big championship race rather than the cop out.
Yes. Although Harry and I spoke about this the other day, and it's not, I don't know, I mean, you've got Factor File looming large over the Ryanair.
But yeah, so you've hit it in one. So you've got Factor File going out. We we might go to the Gold Cup, we might go to the Ryanair. It's very simple. If the Ryanair wasn't there, they
Yeah.
would go to the Gold Cup.
I think
Il
we
Francais, they would go to the Queen Mother. And I just think for championship races, that is what you need. There's a perfectly good 2.5 miler at Aintree you can run in. There's a perfectly good 2.5 mile hurdle at Aintree you can run in. But these are the creme de la creme, so called.
yeah.
And what the Ryanair does is it seems to provide a sort of valve for those who either aren't good enough or the trainers think, well, it's a bit easier here
Yeah.
than going in the traditional championship races. That's why I get rid of that. I mean, the mare's hurdle. Flaky Dove was a mare. She wouldn't have run in the champion hurdle. I wouldn't have thought in a month of Sundays these days. So that the opportunity cost involved is there is a potential for horses who could win the top races to go for different ones, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I think we broadly agree actually that what they have tried to do, I think, in their expansion over the I don't know last couple of decades, is they've tried to cater and provide basically a championship race for every horse, really, haven't they? Particularly from a graded point of view, that's every juvenile and every older horse in both hurdles and chasers. And as you rightly say, they don't have to do that, and there is other options at
I mean, I've got my gin
Aintree,
and tonic
Sandown.
here tonight,
What's that got to
and
do with it?
no, I'm just going to do it as a case in point. And what happens if you put the tonic water in and you keep putting the tonic water in and the tonic water in and then the gin overflows? You end up with a lot of tonic water and not a lot of gin. So to use the analogy, the gin is the good horses and the tonic water are not such a good horses. And that is a concern. It isn't just Cheltenham. You can argue even Royal Ascot has it.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
are there are now too many championship races. So there's too many FA Cup finals, to use a footballing analogy. And I just think that in an era where betting is key, you would end up with more competitive and better races. It would be. I don't think Il Francais is going to go to the champion chase, but I think it would be a fascinating conundrum if he did.
yeah. I said that. I said that a couple of weeks ago. I'll be running him in there, but
Far
yeah.
too much agreement tonight.
Yes, there is. Yes, that needs to stop. Although this afternoon there definitely wasn't. SD, that the Dale's final part of his question, which I think I can answer for you or for him, is that if the festival should it be shuffled back to include a Saturday, not add more days, same amount of days, but going to the Saturday for the conclusion, like Royal Ascot does. My answer to that, and like the Derby's done, like the July Cup did, etc. My answer to that, from SD's perspective, is absolutely not, because Uttoxeter Midlands National is on the Saturday. But you
No,
can
but
see that you can see the
it's
commercial
not.
argument.
Well, look, Gold Cup Day has, maybe not this year, and we might come on
Usually,
to this in a bit.
yeah,
Usually
usually,
sells out. I don't have a problem with the Gold Cup being on a Friday at all. At
yeah,
all. It's also worth pointing out, just from a Utoxeter point of view. I'm not Art's greatest fan or Utoxeter's greatest fan for that matter, but they put the money up. The richest handicap run
that
the
week,
week after next is the Midlands National.
yeah.
Now, they therefore deserve their place in the sun rather than being sheltered.
Yeah, we also had another question on Twitter there about will Henry de Bromhead have any winners? That's from AD22. The Westerner is probably his best chance, is it not? Or the big Westerner, and that's in the potato race, isn't it? But
Yeah, that's a challenge, I suspect. Look, what I don't want to do here, and this is to all. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for all you lot who have bought Cheltenham Festival preview.
41 of you, thank you.
All 41 of you. We squeezed somebody in today. So I don't want to give my thoughts on the championship races or any of the races for that matter, but I will say that I could see Envoy Allen running quite well in the Ryanair.
Right, interesting. There you go. That's one for you, AD. Another question from, I think it was Sando. Yeah, Sando. He said, "How many go in the Gold Cup? Not many. We predicted that a few weeks ago. And who fills the places?" I think that's a fair enough question that will probably, as SD has alluded to, be answered in more depth on Friday. But yeah, it does look It does look like a small field, doesn't it, in the Gold Cup, SD?
Well, it does, and without giving too much away, you've. I think it's fairly clear. Gallopin is going to be is well clear now. The fact of the matter is that there are two horses, and only really two horses in there who I think can give him a race. Now, whether or not they win, I don't know, and that's Banbridge and Factorfile. Banbridge was I cannot emphasize how good Banbridge was in the King George. He shouldn't have won that race.
Yeah,
It was,
first time trying over that trip, etc.
yeah, it's 2 furlongs further, but it's certainly interesting, and Factorfile, even it's all to do with energy expansion with Factorfile. But again, I I just wonder on better ground if they'll give this a go. I'd like them to, wouldn't you? He's just absolutely frozen. I have no idea what's going on, viewers. So Factorfile, so apologies for his Wi-Fi being absolutely abominable. I think Factorfile has a very good chance. Are you there?
I'm here. Yes. How are you?
Yeah, you just frozen. You've frozen again. He's on some absolutely
You.
awful Wi-Fi. I can't tell a word you're saying. He's frozen again. So to answer the question, Banbridge, Factorfile both have a pretty good chance, and I do hope they run here. Just looking at the rest while Knobhead's Wi-Fi is frozen, you've got horses like the Real Whacker, Ahoy Seigneur, Hewick, Long Press. They don't exactly set the pulse racing, do they? Are we now receiving, sir? Because we
Yes.
had about 90 seconds of intermittent
Well,
garbage.
it's a
So
good job that you are a professional SD and dealt with it in a professional manner.
yes, I thought you were Knobhead.
Yes, I heard that bit as well. Right, okay. Now, like I say, I know you didn't want to shape every race, but I do think that between now and Friday, it might not, but it could well change. The picture could well change or become clearer in regards to the champion hurdle. I think I do need to get some thoughts on you without making a selection, SD. We'll save that to the guys that have paid for Friday. But I think it's fascinating. I hope all four of them turn up. We're talking about Constitution Hill, Brighter Days Ahead, Lossiemouth and Stateman. But they're still playing will she, won't she in regards to Brighter Days Ahead.
No, we went over this at the start. The fact of the matter is that if they're all well, they should all turn up.
Yes, I agree.
It's a sport at the end of the day, not a bloody piddling bloody school sports day race. And yes, it will be fascinating. The stats, by the way, of horses coming into the champion hurdle after a fall are absolutely horrendous. A loss
I
in
think
that.
it was a bad fall. I do. I think it was a pretty bad fall.
It was a fall.
Yeah.
Brighter Days is interesting. Constitution Hill. I had a chat with Nicky Henderson today at Huntingdon.
How did that go?
Well,
Were you both wearing gilets at the same time? Gilet to
we
gilet?
were Unibet to races now in a nice sort of Siamese bosom.
Is it coming on
And
races now this Thursday for the usual
no, but I only asked him about one horse, and the horse I asked him about, I don't mind telling people this, was no ordinary Joe.
Yeah,
And I asked him where will it go, and he told me it's in the Coral Cup of the Martin Pipe,
it is.
which means it'll probably run in a different race.
Yeah.
Look, it is fascinating. I will just say one thing about these four. I would not back State Man with stolen money. I thought he was absolutely goosed at the end of Leopardstown. I thought I did not like that at all.
Yes, and the market suggests
And
that.
I'll tell you something. If those other two don't run, the angle in might be to place him. Honestly.
Yeah, he's not been great this year at all. I mean, it's difficult with him because one of his races he got beat by 31 lengths from a once a season type ride in a graded race. Don't get me wrong; it happens at Wolverhampton sometimes on Tuesday. We saw last week, but in a graded
It was
race,
at Southall.
think Quickthorn on the flat. It happens once a season. Um, and as whenever I see a race like that or a performance like that, brighter days ahead, I think she needs to. That horse, I would like to see try and successfully do it again before concluding that is the way she's going to go every time and bound clear. So State Man. So when he got beat 31 lengths, was it brilliant on brighter days ahead? Was it poor on State Man? Is he gone at the game? Not sure. It maybe looks that way, but not sure. And then
I
obviously
think he's gone at the game. There you
he
go.
may well have done SD. And then obviously Lossiemouth fell at the Dublin Racing Festival, and nothing really happened in that race. Yeah, I just think that Constitution Hill so far, since he's been back from a year off, has not had to do a lot. There was rubbish opposition on trials day. Lossiemouth was in there on Boxing Day, but she never looked like winning in herself. Although, yes, she did only get beat 2.5 lengths. So I think that Constitution Hill, hopefully he can. And I know this is contradicting myself in the same sentence. I think this is a much bigger test for him. I wouldn't be backing him at 8:13. But if all four of them run and Constitution Hill still wins by 4, 5, 6, it could be one of the best performances of the century, really.
Well, it
He's
would
already,
be.
yeah, he's
You
already up.
know, he wouldn't be the same as Isterbrack, but you could certainly say, and you could probably say it now, he's the best hurdler since Isterbrack.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, exactly. So people would widely agree with that statement. And in this deep field, which could well be the deepest race he's ever ran in, if all four of them run, and he still manages to win, then hats off. But yeah, any other business, SD, before we clock off and look forward
I
to
think
Friday?
it's just worth talking about the Queen Mother, isn't it? Because
Yep.
I think that's an interesting enough race. You know, they're saying Gaelic Warrior wants a bog. You know, Energumy's older than me. Le Francais might not run.
Yeah.
John Bond's in there. Solness, who's now twice just powered from the front and has improved out of nowhere. That's
Yep.
shaping up to be a nice race. And of course, the first race, the Supreme Novices, is interesting because you know there are doubts about the favourite, and again, without giving too much away, there are legitimate doubts about the favourite, and there are several. As is usually the case in the Supreme,
Yep.
unexposed horses, some of
Yep.
whom have attracted some money this week,
Yep.
against him. And that, you know, we were saying, oh, it's not looking a great race at the moment. That's boiling up nicely, isn't it, as well?
On John Bon, SD, this is completely on the basis that Ile Francois doesn't run, as the current exchange suggests, 21 to back, 55 to lay. On the basis that he doesn't run, I think it's a penalty kick for John Bon. I said that to you yesterday with my arm's length racing, jumps racing knowledge, and you was umming and ahhing about that. So maybe there could be a bit of SD versus Smith opinion in the lead up to the Cheltenham.
Well, look, as I say, people are paying to get in, so I'll not give too much away.
Good. Right. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up there. We're going to be back on Thursday with the usual Saturday betting show.
Are we not doing a Lady Wolferner
No,
anti-post pre?
no,
Why ever not?
no.
And don't
We won't.
forget, everyone, John Hutchinson will be at Catterick
Oh, here we
on
go.
Wednesday, and Carlisle on Sunday, and also we do have Paul Garrity.
Does he pay you to plug him?
I have spoken to him. He's won. He's won today, and he won yesterday, and he has a reserve seat at the Cheltenham Festival preview.
Oh, does he?
I,
Has he paid extra for that?
No, he's just a
Oh, okay.
friend of the channel. He's the best friend of the
Well,
channel.
look, all 41 people coming are friends of the channel.
He's the best friend of the
Oh,
channel.
very good, very good.
Yes. You know, it's shaping up rather nicely. The thing I would say, and I don't want to pour a dampener on it, but if we were doing this preview a year ago,
Yep.
we'd be talking about horses like Sergino and other horses like that, and getting really rather excited about it. There's quite a bit of water under the bridge, and the law of averages tells you maybe one or more of the horses we've been talking about tonight, unfortunately, won't make it to Cheltenham. So if you are betting this week, I had a look earlier on, and basically the bookies are reasonably competitive on a non-run and no bet basis. So do just check if there are still some bookmakers out there who are not non-runner no bet. And there's every chance, you get egg on your face, you put it in the frying pan, and it turns into a bloody omelette.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and we'll be back Thursday. Looking forward to Chelmsford and Wolverhampton and something else. What else is on?
It's the Imperial Cup.
Sandown Imperial Cup. Will any horse be doing the double? Probably not. Right, see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.